Man, this is crazy, guys. I can't believe they made something like this at an affordable price. Today, we're gonna talk about this Sigma 60 to 600 millimeter. Everything that you guys are gonna see when it comes to this lens review was shot with the Sony a7S III as far as video. So let's talk about this lens, shall we?
See how I live, work my biz. I'm too far from the rest, not what you used to. Okay, this ain't what you used to. Always with the new, this ain't what you used to. This ain't what you.
Let's talk about why I got this lens, and maybe this is the reason why it might work for you guys as well. So this Sigma 60 to 600, I bought it because my brother, he's a soccer coach, also a personal trainer for these soccer players. And I wanted to go ahead and start documenting his life. And also I want to start shooting sports going forward, you know, have some fun on the weekends. So I wanted to invest into something that can give me the detail, give me the emotion, really get me into the scene. Because we all know the 70 to 200, when it comes to basketball, see something like that where it's closer environment, it can work. But when it comes to soccer and you're filming that or taking photos, it's a big field. So for you to really get those close emotion shots, you gotta be lucky that the scene's happening within that 200 millimeter focal range, which a lot of the times it won't happen. So you want something that really dives into the field, really gets into it. And this Sigma 60 to 600 is one I wanted to buy, see what it gives me. And honestly, best investment I have made. So the price for this goes for $2,000. So that is one reason why I made the investment. It wasn't a crazy amount. I don't know if you guys have made your research, but when it comes to these telephoto lens, like the 70 to 200, it is a f2.8 all zoom. So that one went for like 2,800. But this one here for $2,000, obviously you don't get the 2.8. But it's still, for that type of range you're gonna get, I think it's definitely worth the price. So now let's talk about the aperture. It is a 4.5 to 6.3. So I know it doesn't sound all that good. You know, we like to shoot wide open. We like to get that f1.4, the 2.8. We love those fast lenses. However, when you have a telephoto lens, if it's a 300, 400, 500, 600 millimeter lens, you're gonna get bokeh regardless of how high the aperture is because of the compression you're gonna get. Now, when it comes to the weight on this lens, it is kind of heavy. Now you could go handheld with the Sony a7S III or the a7 IV. The only downfall is because these cameras are so light and this is kind of heavy, so it's always good to have it on tripod. From time to time, I did go ahead and go handheld so I can go ahead and test it, and it wasn't bad. But for like a 2-hour game or a 1-hour game, you might want to have a tripod to kind of like let it rest. If not, you could just put it down like this and you'd be perfectly fine with having the camera on top. So I did that as well. Now, what really surprised me with this lens is the autofocus. The autofocus on this was extremely good. It shocked me. I put it through its test. Number one is I did a lot of 600 millimeter because I love the look that this was giving me with that. But what I like about it is, first of all, the autofocus is fast. It's, you know, what Sony gives you with this lens is just extremely fast. But the other benefit with this autofocus is as you're zooming in or you're zooming out, it doesn't lose focus. You know, sometimes when you're zooming in with these zoom lenses, it'll kind of go off, it doesn't stick on. This one, you can follow the person and or you can zoom in as he's coming towards you or zoom out with the person, and it's gonna track the person non-stop. It is not gonna have any focus breathing. I was really shocked for $2,000. I didn't expect that out of this lens. So I was amazed by the autofocus, how you can zoom in. So for sports, this is an amazing lens to definitely try and have. Now, the only downfall when it came to the zoom lens, for you guys to understand, is it's a 4.5 to 6.3. So if you have it at 4.5 at 60 millimeter and then you're zooming all the way up to 600, you are gonna lose light as it's zooming in. So that is the only downfall. So what I learned to do to kind of counter that was to expose it perfect for the 4.5 aperture. And as it goes to 600, yeah, you're gonna lose exposure, but you can always adjust it and tweak it within post. Now we're gonna talk about the optical stabilizer. So the downfall with the Sony a7S III when you go to 4K 120 is it cancels the IBIS, but because it has the optical stabilizer, you're able to counter that. And handheld at 600 millimeter, it is not warpy, it is not shaky, it does the damn job. So that shocked me, and hopefully I have some shots that I'm showing you guys how good the stabilizer works for when it comes to shooting 4K 120 handheld. Never in my life would I think 600 millimeter and an optical stabilizer is gonna stabilize a shot the way I saw it when I was filming. I'm like, there's no way. I was expecting a bunch of jitter even with the optical stabilizers. So thank you, Sigma, for providing that within this lens. Now this Sigma lens also has 2 custom buttons. Of course, I never do anything to any of these lenses that have that, but just for you guys to know, it does have 2 custom buttons on this lens for you guys to have in case you guys use this feature. So now the last thing I forgot to mention is this lens right here. This is the downfall. Like if you don't lock it, it's just gonna open up all the time. So if you're just holding it or kind of just, you know, holding it down, it's gonna do that. So you're gonna make sure it locks and then you don't have to worry about it. That's the only thing that got on my nerves, but again, it was a minor thing. So in conclusion, you know what they say about big things, right? No, I'm just playing. I wouldn't know. Put all jokes aside, this lens is a monster. If you guys are into sports, you want that shot that kind of like a lens is not gonna provide, or you wanna have fun and change things up, this lens does the job. I'm a big fan of capturing an emotion, right? So for sports, it's very hard for a 70-200 if you're shooting, let's say, soccer or football. Those two sports, it's a big ass field. A 70-200 is not gonna cut it. Basketball is a whole different thing, but for these other type of sports that require a field, that 70-200 doesn't do the job. So this 600mm can definitely get you in. Like if you want a person just kind of looking, just chilling, you want to capture that emotion, or someone exhausted, this lens will provide it, and it'll upscale you, and it'll change the game for you and make you far better than a lot of these other videographers or photographers, because you have that one lens that's gonna give you a whole different image that's gonna help you and make you stand out. So hopefully this video and the footage that I provided in the description below helped you guys. If you guys are interested in this lens, I do have that link in the description below as well for you guys to, again, it's not gonna be any extra cost to you, but it'll help this channel out. And yeah, anyways, catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.